Cathar Love 100. 100. Cathar Love, or Catharism, bridging East and West. Before getting into the subject, I would certainly intend to thank all those people that I've got to know over the last few years through these videos on Catharism. I made some very good friends, and some of us only contact each other spasmodically. It doesn't matter. We're there, we know each other is there, and that's the main thing. I'd also, at this point, want to thank all those people who took time to comment on this video or that. Sometimes we didn't always agree, it doesn't matter. Sometimes they said you're historically inaccurate on some occasions. Yes, I often realised that I later gave the wrong date. Yes, thanks for that. So yeah, I've much to be thankful for. And of course, and certainly thanks to those people who took the trouble or subscribed. This is the first time I've ever mentioned please. I've never said please subscribe. If people want to subscribe, they will. If they, that's fine. It's not. I'm not doing it to get subscriptions, although all subscriptions are obviously appreciated, and thanks for that. Because that's just the way the system works with YouTube. It's been an interesting period, the last few years, because there's been an amazing growth in the awareness of Catharism, or modern day Catharism, and medieval Catharism. I think one of the most amazing things about Catharism is that it has evolved to, rather than being basically a Christian religion, to becoming a cosmopolitan, international, universal philosophy of love. And that can't be a bad thing for the world. And this way it's not allied to any particular east, west, or in between. It simply takes the best aspects, or it has taken or absorbed the best aspects of Eastern theologies, mysticism, and the same in the West. But also it's taken knowledge from science, starting with Socrates and Plato and the Hellenic philosophers, and using science when it's good science, and to evolve. And I think that's one of the great things about Catharism, is that it is both a philosophy that is still evolving, that still wishes to evolve, and still will evolve. Whereas most religions, irrespective whether East or West, they want to keep it as it is. They want to keep their laws, their doctrines, and keep it the way it is for various reasons, mainly because they're very happy the way things are. They don't want things to evolve and actually it's lost from their control. But the world's not like that, and more women are taking the stage, and more and more women are saying, well, that's not good enough for me. And certainly in Islam, it's just amazing. If you look at some of the ladies and who are just standing up for themselves and standing up and no, I don't do it that way. And so Islam, whether they like it or not, is evolving, but it's evolving very, very much through the women just saying, no, enough is enough. we're not going to have it like that anymore, and they're doing something constructive to do it. So you can't stop any philosophy, religion from evolving, from growing, even though the people at the hierarchy often do their level best. It's wonderful also to see Pope Francis at the moment, how he's just saying that's not good enough. Recognising the world is overpopulated. We just can't go on having 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13 and 16 children in some families. So that's fine, but how is that child going to be educated, and certainly educated to look after their families in the future? Education, which is unfortunate, but doesn't matter. It virtually doesn't matter what country. It's just becoming more and more expensive. So, if we do have large families, it's virtually impossible to educate all those children. So there's a whole range of things that are taken out of our hands, and we can work with it or against it. Certainly the environment, the planet, it's disappearing before our eyes. Some statistic I saw, like 90% of the world's sharks have been fished out. And so other problems are created when these predators, which are at the top of the tree, when they're being eliminated. And things are being done. I know in Australia, something like about at least 70% of our coastline is now being made marine parks, and so in those areas the fish can multiply and go and return to what they should be and to the stocks that they should be, and of course from there they can migrate into the other areas that can be fished. So we're certainly doing it here, but there's not many countries which are doing that, which is a pity. So Catharism is evolving no less, and that's with knowledge, scientific knowledge, with mystical knowledge, with spiritual knowledge. But the difference is with Catharism. Someone said to me, we're talking over a coffee, and she said, where can I join? I said, there's nothing to join. It's a church, but it's a church of one. It's an organisation of one, you, me. It's what you do with your life and how you handle your life and what you do with it. That's what Catharism is about. Forget the organisation. Forget there's no hierarchies. There's no someone up there and there's no one down there. It's simply all about one. It's all about you, all about me. Because the whole basis is that nothing really is going to change unless we change ourselves, unless we transform ourselves. And this is the very first rung of Catharism. Obviously, to do something to transform our lives, we have to be aware of Catharism. We have to be have read about it, the history, see where it's going, see where it's at the moment, and say, yes, this is for me. But it's not just saying this is for me, it's just saying that because Cathar is simply about love and goodness. That's it. That's what it is. And it's you making that choice, that move, for you to move towards what you consider love and goodness, relationships. And that's your path. Now what Catharism is saying, that if you take that first step, and it's only you who can take, and I, in my case, take that first step to transform our lives and say, this is the path we're going to head along. Now look, this is the Cathar path, but anybody should really, for their own good, their own spiritual growth, should be doing this. But we're talking here about Catharism. From that point onwards, what does happen? Now, I can't give you a guarantee, but I can only say that all the people that I know that have embraced Catharism in their own way and to their own degree have had their lives changed, and lives changed in a more mystical, miraculous, magical way. This happens in every case, and it happens for a very good reason, because these things happen, these manifestations, these mystical manifestations, and a whole range of things that it can take place. They're there to let you know, to signpost you that you've taken the right choice and you're on the right path for you. The one thing, well, not the one thing, another aspect that Catharism gets rid of, and that is doctrines and dogma. You can't do this, you can't do that, you must do this, you must do that. Catharism says, you know what is best for you, you know what is the best path for you, and if you do the wrong thing, you know the best way to do something about it. It is always about you, and even when you die and you go to the world of spirit, it is still there. There's no day of judgment or punishment, no eternal damnation or salvation. It is simply you saying, where have I travelled so far? Where have all my lives brought me? Where I'm at so far? What did I do or not do in that life? And what can I do to make amends, or so forth? Because we have these karmic influences in our lives where we build up good karma, or we build up karma that's not so good. But that karma is there to teach us, so that we understand. When karma is not there to punish us, because you broke that person's heart, we're going to now break your heart. Now, you may have broken that person's heart, and your heart may be broken, but your heart has not been broken karmically to punish you. It's to show you the hurt and pain that comes from breaking another person's heart, so you understand, so you're not likely to do it in the future. So karma is used there as a form of understanding. But this karma is also, it's very, very much an Eastern mystical aspect of theology and philosophy. So Catharism is this ideal bridge, and so it bridges East and West. You know, the aspects of Buddhism, reincarnation, pacifism, don't kill animals or people, Taoism, its simplicity of living with the environment, learning from the environment, accepting the planet Earth as the mother, and also from Taoism, not just from Taoism, but there was this, they elevated the feminine aspect, recognized that within nature, within human beings, and went out to downtrod the female. And also there's that ancient Chinese philosopher, also around the time of Confucius and Mozart, and he realized that the only way the world would change is through love. And if we can't learn to love each other, well, nothing much is going to happen. And so he wanted to legislate that love be taught to children. When we can say love, we can talk about ethics. And he said, at that level, the ethos of love, ethics, love, the world has a chance of becoming a loving world, or a much more loving world. And so his idea is still a good idea. Whereas what we do have is religion and so forth taught in schools, and we're still trying to keep that old system alive and keep it where it is, the status quo. So Catharism is quite the opposite. We want to learn, we want to know, and what if we can learn and we can know, well, we want to absorb this into Catharism, or in our case, it's the Cathar one, you, me. Of course, hell. This person died, and upon his consciousness reawakening, said, oh, I'm feeling hungry. and there was food. Whatever dishes that person wanted. Wine. And the best wines were there. Women, the most beautiful women. Whatever the person wanted was always there. All these material things. I'd like a decent sized house with 6 rooms. A decent sized house with 6 rooms was there. No problem. But after a while, a number of years, the best of this and the best of that, and all I want here and I want it there. And he said, this is all a bit boring. He said, really? He said, I didn't realise heaven was such a boring place. I've got everything and I'm still not happy. And then he was advised by a guide, angel, whatever you like. He said, no. He said, you're not in heaven. This is hell. And so many, and we read about it every day, this celebrity, this wealthy person, and we look at these people, look what they've got. They've got riches, they've got celebrity, they've got fame. But then we read this unhappy story about them and that unhappy story about them. So really, in their own way, some of these people, with what they've been given, which looks like gifts, in actual fact is a part of hell in reality, because it certainly hasn't brought them happiness or inner joy. And so Catharism is about enough is enough. You've got that, enjoy it. You haven't got it, that's okay. No, there's nothing wrong with wanting something, nothing's wrong with having something. But if you lose it for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. You've got a car, it's great. You don't have a car, it's just as great. You've got a bike, it's great. You don't have a bike, it's just as great. Those things are great to have, but it doesn't matter if you don't have them. So, because you're looking for that inner joy, then inner bliss, and happiness comes and happiness goes, but we can develop an inner joy and inner bliss that is with us every day. With Catharism, it's early days. It's resurfaced like the phoenix of old has arisen from the ashes. There's certainly plenty of ashes of burnt Cathars to rise from. And it's here to stay. This is the environment, the age of information, the internet, and communications, information, technologies are going to make them easier and simpler for people to become informed and hopefully make informed choices with that deluge of information that is arriving. But this is the time, and this is the time when Catharism can come back into its own again and can become part of the mainstream. But Catharism is never going to be. It's for the few. It's not for the multitude, because at any one time there's only a certain number of people who are evolving to that particular level and want to be, and that's fine. That's the way it is. But the essence, the very heart of Catharism is you. It's me. Nobody else. Not your mother, not your father, not your kids, not your dog. You, me. It's how we transform our lives, how we evolve, how we ascend. It's about us. Now, the one guarantee I can give, and you can give, is that if you have got your act together, you've got your material and your spiritual and your mystical in balance, you've got a foot in both worlds, you're not frightened to live and you're not frightened to die. You're looking forward to living this life, but you're looking forward to the world of spirit when that goes, when that happens, and it will happen. But it's all about you and me. And so my responsibility is simply for me to get my act together. And if I've got my act together and I'm got that inner joy, that inner bliss, and I feel good about myself, the world then is a better place. Be it only one, me. Or now, in your case, me and you, hopefully. Two. So the world's a better place by two. We can give that guarantee. What's really good for us isn't always easy to accept. Case in point, they had these laboratory rats, and what they did was, this is quite some time ago, years ago, and they literally starved them. They just gave them enough food to live, survive. But the food they did give them was highly nutritious. Now, laboratory rats usually live for a couple of years, but these rats live for 6 years. That's 3 lifetimes. So the point was that we're killing ourselves with food in most cases, if we want to take a lesson from the rats. So not everyone's interested in living these lives, but it's not a matter of living longer. It's a matter of living longer with health. Who wants to live another 20 years longer if it's in health and you've got chronic diseases and so forth? It's 20 years more of pain. What you want is 20 more years of good health, feeling wonderful about yourself and the world. So to this end, there's been a few lately, and they've put people on very low diets, in a caloric diets. And one was to see if it would help the immune system. And they put the people on only so many hundred calories a day. And they had to go for about 4 or 5 days. And what they found was that when they do this, when you do on virtually a starvation diet, after 2 days, your body thinks that it's starving, it kicks in, and what it does, it burns all the fats, cells unnecessary cells that we don't need, the old cells, and they just burn them up, and obviously in doing that you lose weight. But what they have found is the immune system kicks in, and you really strengthens the immune system and rejuvenates the immune system, so the immune system can attack diseases, whatever, and keep you in good health. But in every respect, of course, and then they also found that the T cells come in, and you've already devoured, the body has already devoured the old cells and so forth, and it makes new cells, but these are brand new cells. So right across the spectrum, blood pressure goes down, loss of weight, the blood flow is increased, there's this blood flow to the brain. We just gain in so many ways. So there has been some where they do this for a week and keep on a starvation diet for a week, and they're doing it for different reasons. And it really, in one case there, that they had these female rats which were post-menopausal, and when they did that for 7 days, what happened? They became premenopausal, and their eggs and ovaries made them so that they could reproduce. So it really rejuvenated these particular laboratory rats and mice. Now, we have this knowledge. It's virtually guaranteed. And when they do it with humans, what happens? Their blood pressure goes down, there's loss of weight, their intelligence goes up, all these things are happening, and it's just rejuvenate. We're being rejuvenated. We're giving a lease of life. We're going to live longer. And it says that if we do that, and we say did that once a month for a week, we didn't eat for a week, we kept our virtually a starvation diet for a week, but good food, but very, very little of it. What is happening, and what they have found, is that people are living longer, and even if they do get a problem, it's not as bad as it normally would. But they just found people are living longer, but in good health. Okay? We have that information, but who's prepared to do it? How many people, and you can check on this, there's good old Google there, and check on fasting, diets and the things that they've been going on, and the latest information that's been accrued on this. And we've got that knowledge, we can do it. But how many people can go off that food for 3 days, 4 days, a week? Now, a number of years ago, I'm talking about 20 years ago, I used to diet. Not diet, I used to fast, because I enjoy fasting. Maybe it's a kicko from the old Cathar days when they used to do, the Cathars used to do 3 fasts of 40 days a year. 40 days. Now that means they did eat, but they ate very little in that particular time. But I didn't do it for that long. I used to do it for 3 or 4 days, and I remember my wife would say, that's enough, John, come on, 3 days. And I said, but it's fine, I'm okay, I can go a couple more days. And I did a lesson in, I still did the things that I had to do and so forth. But I did it for the joy of doing it, not for any reason. But I had no idea at the time there were all these benefits which we now know about. So, we can transform our lives. Words are cheap. It's easier said than done. Back to Catharism, that first step, that step where we're saying we're going to get rid of all that negativity, jealousy, envy, greed, this, that and so forth. We're going to put those negative things and get rid of them. Anyone who's hurt us, or we've hurt, forgive and get that out of our system. And literally live a life of goodness, caring, kindness, using the humanities. That transformation, that transformative step is up to us. That no one can do for you. It's the same as going on that fast. Nobody else can do it for you. It's you putting the food in your mouth. If you want to do it, you can. It's fine. You know the benefits, but then even knowing the benefits, how many will do it? So Catharism's a little bit the same. It's taken that step, but the benefits are there, because what happens, your life it does become transformed, and you transcend. You get these periods of transcendence, these periods of away from the mundane. Transcendental things will happen to you. You might go into healing, you might become clairvoyant, you might, there's a range of things, but there's things that will happen, and there will be things that happen, you think, wow, that was enough to me, I feel my guides help that. You'll start to find connections one way or another with your guides. Okay. So Catharism is all up to the individual, about the individual, for the individual. There's no organisation. There's no hierarchies. You can't get to the top or you can't get to the bottom. There's no top or bottom. It's something that it's with you, but being with you. And if you improve, the world improves. So on this 100th little video, once again, thank you to all those that have been involved one way or another, for those who've made contact, those who've subscribed, whatever. And it's early days for us, but Catharism is here, one way or another, and it will evolve as it continues to evolve, continue to be dynamic, continue to grow, for the simple reason is that the world needs it, as you need it and I need it. Bye for now. Talk to you again.